I bought this in Hardoff, which is a chain of used stores with a lot of electrical products such as HiFi gear. And there we are, it's MD-105X. So it's currently wrapped in plastic, which is very typical when you buy something from Hardoff. Of course, the good thing about being able to go into a store and see it is to check for cosmetic damage or the overall condition of the item. And sometimes they have information on the shelf label which helps as well. So it's wrapped in plastic. I'll get the plastic off. Right, plastic off. MD-105X, 24-bit processing. Now that must mean something, bearing in mind that I've seen Minidisc decks that boast 1-bit processing from the 90s. So let's hope 24-bit processing is something special. There we are, made in Japan, serial number there. It's got the electrical socket on the back for daisy chaining. I've mentioned that before. Very useful indeed. 2 optical inputs. That's the remote control for the same series. Remember, this is from a mini compo series and they all connect together using the same remote control if you want to. They have individual remote controls for each item, but you can connect them all with a cable here that daisy chains with other components from the INTEC205 series, and then you only need to use one control. That control is usually the amp control that also has other functions on it to control all the other components. So we got, there we are, analog input and output via RCA, no optical output. In case you're wondering, it's a maximum of 100 watts that can be drawn from this socket here. It's now rigged up, totally connected to my INTEC205 series amp, which is a later generation of the INTEC205 series from the Minidisc deck I'm testing today. So there is a difference in colour. The Minidisc deck is a slight gold colour. Some people call it champagne gold. It's less silver and more gold. The later INTEC205 series gear is silver, and this is the A905FX. Let's get it switched on. I've never used this deck before. It's my first time to use it. Of course, I have used other Minidisc decks. I've used others indeed very similar to this in the INTEC205 series. Got some 80s pop here, recorded from CDs, I believe. I think these are all recorded from CDs. Not using this equipment, of course. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, well, the sound quality is absolutely fine. It's really good, and for what it is, I always say for what it is, because you have to consider what it is. And it's quite small, not amazingly heavy. You know, it's not a huge all bells and whistles deck, and yet it does punch above its weight, literally, and punch above its size, I would say. Now let's try recording on it. Let's check the recording works all right. I'm going to connect a CD player and record directly via the optical digital connections on the back. I have a blank mini disc, not opened, not recorded on yet. Going to unwrap it, get it in the machine. So what am I going to record? Now I'm going to record, oh by the way, note the different colours. So the later INTEC205 series, as I've mentioned before, has this blue. Now, these displays are called dot matrix, by the way. They're dot matrix displays, for your information. Got some remastered Led Zeppelin here. Now obviously this has been especially remastered to suit CD playback, and let's find out what it sounds like if we record it onto MD. So the CD's loaded. Let's zoom in a bit. There is an input selector here. It has 4 settings. It has analog mono, analog stereo, and digital in 1, digital in 2. It's connected to digital in 1, so we'll set it there. So I've got the CD in the CD deck, and I've got the blank MD in the MD deck ready to go. Now there's a record button here. You press it once to tell the machine that you're going to record. Now when you press it again, it says signal record, so it's waiting for a signal from the source that you're recording from. In this case, it's waiting for a signal from this CD player. So if I press play, it should start to record automatically. There we are. So it doesn't stop automatically. When I pressed stop on the CD player, it does not automatically stop here. So I have to, yes it does, take that back. It did, it was a bit of a delayed reaction. I don't know if you saw that, but it did in fact stop after a few seconds. Now that would be an undesirable gap, I would say. So the good thing about Minidisc, of course, is you can edit that out and remove unwanted gaps and mistakes in your recordings and all that without having to re-record everything. So what does it sound like? Well, let's play it back and find out. Press play. I played back the same track again on the Minidisc, and I simultaneously played the same track on the CD, and I toggled the input selector between the two, comparing the sound. Interestingly, the MD had a much harsher treble than the original CD. It was somehow amplifying the treble. Don't know what that was all about. Maybe you can let me know in the comments as to why that would happen. In terms of the other frequencies, I felt it was a fairly good reproduction of the CD, bearing in mind that it was indeed taken via the digital optical cable at the back, and it did not go via the amp. It was a direct signal path. But I am rather perplexed as to why the treble was particularly harsh on the Minidisc recording. So your thoughts on that, please. And something else that's happened, and it seems to be a recurring problem now with certainly with the Onkyo products, which I really dearly love for their robust build quality and sturdiness, etc., and indeed their sound quality, but they are having problems with their logic controls and their electronic switches. So something that you didn't see after I finished my recording is that the MD has refused to eject my disc, which is rather frustrating. Now, I was very keen to do a test on that as soon as possible, and that's why you're getting this video, because as I mentioned, I bought it in Hardoff, which is a chain of used shops, shops of used goods, that is, and certain products come with a guarantee. So a lot of their audio gear comes with a 3-month warranty, and some of it comes with a 10-day warranty. The Minidisc deck that I just tested for some reason came with a 10-day warranty, which does suggest to me that there was a known problem with it. That's why they only gave us 10 days. They're probably hoping that, and this has happened to me indeed, I haven't tested things within the given 10 days and not been able to return 40 items sometimes. But this time I was onto it, and I have got it tested and got it checked, and it's got a dodgy eject mechanism. Now, I don't think the mechanism is actually the problem. It seems to be the electronic controls on it. So I should be taking it back to the shop. I've got plenty of MD decks, so I don't need another one. I thought it was a bargain. It was really cheap, and I forget the price. It was well, I don't know, in British pounds, maybe about £25 or something. What's that, $30 or something? So I was slightly suspicious, but MD decks, especially smaller decks, are still quite good value for money, and I do see them going up in the future. I do think they will be the next cassette deck gold rush, but anyway, that remains to be seen. There we are. This has been Hi-Fi Lo-Fi. Thanks for watching.